Hello again. Welcome back to your 5-minute devotional stop with me, Amy Phillips. I'm on a journey moving from fear to faith, and I hope you'll join me for Just Believe. Well, hey friends, let's talk about God's love today. We talk about it a lot, we sing about it a lot, but a lot of the times we don't really make time for it, the sensing of it, the living in it. So often we're thinking about the future and forgetting to live in the now of God's love. This week I took several moments of just receiving the truth of God's love in all things. His love in a child's soccer game, or the beauty in the trees as I floated in the pool. The smile of a child when he's playing. God's love in the touch of a friend, in the prayers for friends. His love is in my love for my children, for my husband. His love is in all and through all. I was overwhelmed this week. 1 John 4 says, God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. God is love, and all who live in love live in God, and God lives in them. Or what about further on down in that same chapter? It says, this is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us and his love is made complete in us. Then I saw this quote, God's love is wide enough to be everywhere. There is no place on this planet where God's love isn't present. There is no place in the universe where God's love ends. Are you getting it again today? The vastness, the size of God's love for you, for us. It's beyond what we can even imagine. He is love, and he's outside of our scope of understanding. This love began the moment he created us. The Holy Trinity and community and fellowship and love came up with us. In my mind, I imagine them standing together, creating us right in their midst. They rejoiced together as each one of us was formed with all of our specific gifts and talents. Then they lovingly chose the time for us to come into this world, and they loved us. Then, all through our lives and on into eternity, we are covered with eternal love. This love is so big, so deep, so rich. Rick Warren says, God's love is like an ocean. You can see its beginning, but not its end. I've been thinking of how the world views love. They make movies about love, love between a man and a woman, the love of family or friendship. These loves are from God, although they may not know it or acknowledge it. If you see a movie other than a Hallmark movie, you may even see where love can't be sustained because they don't understand the nature of it, the unconditionality of it from the God of love. They give up because they can't understand it. But love is powerful, and it affects everyone, no matter if they love God or not. Why? Because it's not just an attribute of God, it is God. There are things that are because of the God who made all things. He is love, he is honor, he is holy, he is beauty, he is care for others. When we get glimpses of them, our hearts are moved, no matter who we are. It is a glimpse of heaven to feel love for a friend, or to remember a good time with others, to have contentment in your heart. It's a glimpse of heaven to feel a toddler's chubby arms around our necks or a friend putting their arm around your shoulders. I saw an interview where a musician who doesn't count Jesus as Lord had watched a Maverick City worship song and his heart was moved to tears. We are moved by the God of love and all the things he's created, even if we don't know him. He is in all things, all of the things we see and we do. So I encourage you today, start to think through the moments of love that God has been pouring out on you. Speak them aloud. Let the love of God wash over you. You may have anxieties and needs come through your mind, but train yourself to come back to the beauty, back to the love. Stay in that moment and remember the beauty of this love and see God's love in all things. When I do this, it feels like all the concerns fall away, all the fears, anxieties release. It's gratitude that goes one step further, recognizing the love that God has given in all the things that you are grateful for. Ephesians 1 tells us, in love, He predestined us to be adopted as His sons through Jesus Christ. In love, He chose you. In love, He decided to make you His child. In this passage, it's like God is trying so hard to convey through Paul how much He loves us. Do you feel like a child who's loved, who's seen, who's chosen? I have that old hymn running through my head that they sang at the Welsh revival so many years ago. It says, "Here is love vast as the ocean, loving kindness as the flood, when the Prince of Life, our ransom, shed for us His precious blood. Who His love will not remember? Who can cease to sing His praise? He can never be forgotten throughout heaven's eternal days." Who His love will not remember? Let it not be me. I want to remember His love today. Let His love permeate you today in every grateful thing that comes to your heart and mind. He is love. He loves you. Where else would you want to go? Do not fear, friends. Just believe. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you feel encouraged and strengthened. If you want to connect with me, you can find me at amybphillips.com. See you next time.